After months of suspense that triggered rigorous campaigns across the nooks and crannies of the country by different groups vigorously championed by the Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria (TAN) and millions of his supporters across the diverse interest groups in the country demanding that he presents himself for re-election as the President of Nigeria in 2015, President Goodluck Jonathan, in a manner almost reminiscent of how he declared to run for the presidency in the 2011 election, has finally hearkened to the call of Nigerians to contest in next year's presidential election. This is in order to consolidate the achievements recorded in the transformation of the different sectors of the Nigerian economy since he mounted the position of leadership in 2011. President Goodluck Jonathan was supported by his wife, Dame Patience Jonathan, the Vice President, Architect Namadi Sambo and his wife, Senate President David Mark and his wife, all the governors from the PDP-controlled states led by the chairman of the Governors Forum, Governor Goodluck of Akwa Ibom State. Also, part of the epoch-making declaration by President Goodluck Jonathan was a comprehensive assemblage of members of the National Working Committee of the ruling People's Democratic Party (PDP), led by the national chairman of the party, Alhaji Ahmed Adamu Muazu, the chairman of PDP Board of Trustees, Chief Tony Aneni, former chairman of the party, and stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. It was indeed a record-breaking attendance of supporters and admirers of President Goodluck Jonathan from every facet of life that thronged the Eagle Square, venue for President Goodluck Jonathan's formal declaration for the 2015 election. Before the event formally got underway, in his charismatic manner, President Goodluck Jonathan, in company of the Vice President Mohammed Namadi Sambo and others, undertook a lap of honor across the venue to connect directly with the people amidst thunderous applause, appreciation, and congratulations from the ecstatic and enthusiastic crowd. It's pertinent to note that the groundswell of support for President Goodluck Jonathan that transcends ethnic, religious, and political consideration has been on the continuous ascendancy in the last 4 years, purely on his single-minded determination to deliver democratic dividends to Nigerians to make good his promise. Eagle Square, Abuja was a colorful environment, and the organizers of the event went all out to up the ante in terms of pulling off a well-packaged event which incorporated a heavy dose of entertainment. Entertainment is a major prerequisite of any political rally to put the people in the right frame of mind for the occasion. Sammy Okposo, Yinka Ayefele led other entertainers at the grand declaration by President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan for the 2015 election.
There is no vacancy in Rock. Come on, Goodluck Jonathan again. Come on, there is no vacancy in Rock. Oh yeah, Goodluck. Everybody. Come and see what the Lord has done. Come and see what the Lord has done. Come and see what the Lord has done. Come and see, come and see, come and see, come and see, come and see what the Lord has done. Jonathan is our man.
Undaunted by the unnecessary distraction brought about by the spate of insurgency that has held some parts of the country hostage, President Goodluck Jonathan has summoned the indomitable never-say-die Nigerian spirit to keep faith steadfastly with the Nigerian project with a lot of achievements in many areas of the Nigerian life. President Goodluck Jonathan should be commended for his rare courage to contain the insurgency that is threatening the religious divides of the country to create dissension among Nigerians. It was not a time to pander to the constant distraction of the Boko Haram insurgents and those who choose to make political capital of this sad situation. A problem that should rather be seen as a Nigerian problem that demands a collective solution by all Nigerians. The chairman of the Presidential Declaration Committee, Dr. Bello Haliru Mohammed, OFR, who was a former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Minister of Defense, in his welcome remarks, congratulated President Goodluck Jonathan for accepting the clarion call of Nigerians to continue the transformation program of his administration.
On behalf of the Presidential Declaration Committee, I stand here to welcome all of you and to thank you for answering our call to come and listen to our great President as he responds to your call for him to step forward and contest in 2015 election. Mr. President, this is your crowd. All of us here are lovers, supporters, admirers of President Goodluck Jonathan, who have gathered here to add our voices to the voices of all Nigerians from all walks of life who have requested and demanded that you should step forward and contest.
There were goodwill messages from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, the PDP Governors Forum, Nigerian students, Nollywood, the entertainment sector, members of both chambers of the National Assembly, the Senate and House of Representatives. They all collectively endorsed President Goodluck Jonathan for a second term because he has demonstrated trust, dedication, and steadfastness in the service of Nigeria, and that with his continuation in office, President Jonathan will be able to complete his people-oriented transformation programs.
Fellow Nigerians, wherever we find ourselves, let us do the best that we can, for that is the only way this country can grow. And one thing we must remember, that the quality of the citizenry is reflected in the quality of its leadership. Thank you.
We want to use this opportunity to tell Nigerians the good work Mr. President has been doing, and he should be given another chance. In fact, if not because of Constitution, we will say Mr. President should continue. This is our time. The youth are speaking in one voice. We did it in 2010 and we are here again.
We are our women. We are here talking on your behalf because we know you hold the weapon. The weapon is your power to vote. We urge you, for those of you who do not have their voting card, should please rush and have it, because that is the only weapon that will deliver PDP.
Mr. President, I stand on behalf of the Northeast. You have millions of supporters, you have party royalties. We have collected over 5.7 million signatures out of 17.5 million signatures of your loyal party members. We have requested you, Mr. President, to present yourself today. We have been waiting. Mr. President, you remember when you were inaugurated in 2011, we made a delegation to you, and we asked you, Mr. President, We were having problems of the fuel. You told us that that will be the thing of the past, and you have delivered.
Mr. President, we want to tell Nigerians on behalf of your people that we have absolute confidence in your capacity. We believe in your strength of character to chart a way forward from where we are. There are challenges, but we have no doubt that we have everything Nigeria needs to solve the problems that are facing us. Terrorism and the fight against it must be put on the front burner from now until that battle is won. On behalf of our people, we thank all of you for coming.
We are here because you decided to hit the call of all Nigerians and you are declaring your intention to go for a second term in office. We were the first set in the country to notice your efforts in transforming Nigeria. We came together as field commanders and as governors of our various states. We discussed in a major retreat for about 2 days. We went down the geopolitical zones of the country and we saw your transformation efforts. We went down and saw the dams and the irrigation projects in the north. We saw what you are doing in the railway system. We noticed your efforts at empowering our farmers. We took cognizance of the revolution in the power sector. We looked at the many roads that we have had across Nigeria. We looked at the fact that today agriculture is business in Nigeria. Mr. President, after taking cognizance of your efforts, we the governors resolve that we are not going to contest against you. We are not going to show any interest in the presidency. That we must give you a second term in office for you to complete your good work. President Goodluck and Ebele, PDP governors are saying carry, go. We are saying carry, go. We are saying carry, go.
We are in support of this president because he's an advocate of good governance, a solicitor of human rights, a defender of social justice, a transformer of the power sector, a reformer of education, activator of the railways, generator of agricultural transformation, builder of roads, provider of jobs, refiner of oil and gas factory. This president is performing. We love you, and therefore if you agree with North Central, those of you from Northwest, if you agree, say yes.
We in the Southwest, we always remember our late father, the leader of the Southwest, Papa Obafemi Awolowo, who many years ago predicted that someday, as a mark of development in Nigeria, that an Ijaw man will be president of Nigeria. That has come to stay. Therefore, I affirm on behalf of all our Obas, of all the youth, of all the women, of all the men in the Southwest, that we are standing firmly, collectively behind you as you go on the uncharted waters of canvassing for votes.
Mr. President, we are here in the Northwest to witness this great day. We are here not just to witness, but to give our total support to make sure that you win 2015 election. This declaration you are going to make today, I think, is a great day for the Northwest.
We are interested in your continuity because Second Niger Bridge, we don't want it to be an abandoned project. We want you to come and commission the Second Niger Bridge. Enugu-Port Harcourt Express Road is in bad shape. You are in position to rectify it. Enugu-Onitsha Road is in a horrible mess. Anybody, when we start our national campaign, when we get there, we will see the disaster that is Enugu-Onitsha Road. We believe that with you, Enugu International Airport will be fully functional. And that is why we are preaching for your continuity.
Mr. President, this crayon call that you accept to be the sole and the only candidate of PDP is because we trust that you will deliver the dividends of democracy. Mr. President, distinguished Nigerians, we call on you
to accept this endorsement. We call on you to carry on with the good work that you are doing. We agree that there is a requirement and the need for continuity, because continuity will ensure progress.
The Jonathan forward-looking strides in agriculture, aviation, power, and telecommunication sectors should be sustained for the good of Nigeria. It was generally agreed that the security challenges facing Nigeria are surmountable if every Nigerian resolves to work together regardless of differences. The National Assembly promised to continue to support and provide the needed legislative framework for the executive under President Jonathan to continue to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. In Vice President Namadi Sambo's remarks, he congratulated his boss and brother for giving good and focused leadership, which has resulted in far-reaching achievements in all fronts, concluding that another 4 years tenure will afford President Goodluck Jonathan ample opportunity to properly accomplish all his laid down plans to put Nigeria in a firmer pedal for development in all areas.
It is an immeasurable honor for me to be given the opportunity to invite our man of the moment, our leader, and our inspiration on this historic occasion as he makes himself available once again for service to our great country. It is indeed a great privilege to us all that our President and Commander-in-Chief, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, after deep reflections and wide consultations, have decided to yield to pressures from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria to run for a second term and continue with the good works he has been doing for our fatherland. Having worked very closely with him as my boss during this period, I can with humility consider myself competent to say that President Goodluck Ebele Azikwe Jonathan GCFR has been a blessing to Nigeria. First and foremost, I wish to declare that President Jonathan is not only a great boss, but a considerate as well as a listening one who elicits the best of his subordinates. I have had tremendous satisfaction working with him, and I am sure that our colleagues in the presidency and the Federal Executive Council are of the same opinion.
Before making his grand declaration to run in next year's election, coming a day after a suicide bomber killed scores of students in Potiskum, Yobe State, northeast Nigeria, President Jonathan asked for a minute of silence in memory of the students. President Goodluck Jonathan said he had sought and gotten the approval of his family, Nigerians, and the face of God in quick reflection before accepting to represent himself for re-election as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2015.
Over the years, the Almighty God has made it possible for me to develop a bond with you, and I'm grateful for your support and understanding in the difficult periods we have journeyed through.
Reading from the teleprompter an address that spanned about 42 minutes, the President began by giving a general overview of his stewardship since 2011, with a well-articulated appraisal of the achievements of his administration and what he has in store in the next 4 years from 2015. On the issue of insecurity, which is undoubtedly the greatest challenge his administration has faced, he said the federal government is currently equipping the armed forces and deploying special forces to fight Boko Haram. He emphasized that we all as a people owe it a duty to protect our country and save our people.
We are equipping the armed forces and deploying special forces this time to engage the terrorists and end this senseless war. We must protect our country. We must save our people.
President Jonathan promised to do everything humanly possible to end this criminal violence in our nation. He added that to cushion the effect of the sufferings, a presidential initiative tagged Victim Support Fund has been initiated for the whole of the Northeast Zone, in addition to the Safe School Initiative, which was set up to provide a safe school environment for students in the country.
I will do everything humanly possible to end this criminal violence in our nation, to ensure the long-term stability and development of the affected areas. Government has launched 3 programs: the Presidential Initiative for the Northeast, the Victim Support Fund, and the Safe School Initiative. The Presidential Initiative for the Northeast focuses on improving infrastructure and economic growth in the region. The Safe School Initiative is centered on creating a safe environment to encourage our children in the communities to acquire education. The Victim Support Fund is a partnership program with the private sector, and we have raised 60 billion naira, which will help to empower and rehabilitate victims of terror.
President Jonathan said he has provided the needed enabling environment for all enterprises to thrive under his watch, and that people are free to express their views to further entrench the tenets of democracy in tandem with the doctrines of the Freedom of Information Bill, which he signed into law to expand the frontiers of our fundamental freedom as is enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President Jonathan pledged to eliminate poverty with everything at his disposal. President Goodluck Jonathan reminded the gathering that in the area of education, his administration has established 14 new universities, out of which 2 are specialized, with every state having a federal university. He said 150 Almajiri schools have been established in the Northeast Zone to provide educational opportunities to thousands of children in the North. On power, President Jonathan said his government has pushed the reforms to an irreversible progress and that additional hydropower stations were being built in Zongeru and Mambila.
We have also resumed development of our hydropower potentials with the construction of the 700 megawatt Zongeru hydropower plant, while construction work 3,050 megawatts Mambila hydropower plant is about to take off. Our power generation and distribution companies have now been privatized. We are firmly on the road to guarantee regular power supply in the months ahead.
In the area of agriculture, President Jonathan said he has eliminated corruption in the distribution of fertilizers to farmers, which has enhanced productivity and created jobs for thousands in the sector. President Goodluck Jonathan thanked all Nigerians for the confidence reposed in him by giving him the opportunity to lead the country again. President Goodluck Jonathan admitted that his stewardship has not been without challenges, but he stated that with the cooperation of all Nigerians, he was sure that a better Nigeria can be built for the benefit of generations of Nigerians yet unborn.
I'm grateful to all Nigerians for standing with us at these most trying times in our dear country. Let me at this point also thank the leadership of our great party, the People's Democratic Party, for the opportunity you have given to me to serve our nation. I'm overwhelmed by the trust, confidence and support of the various organs of our party, the Board of Trustees, the National Caucus, the National Executive Committee, the National Working Committee, the PDP Governors Forum, members of the PDP caucuses of the National Assembly and others.
The National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, where the presidential candidate to fly the party's flag in next year's election would be chosen, has been fixed for the 10th of December 2014.